What's up, y'all? I'm Cody. I'm a first-year emergency medicine resident. Welcome to my channel. So today I just wanted to kind of talk about something that I think is super important, and that's the transition between, being a fourth-year medical student and becoming a first-year resident. And more specifically, the things that you need to know in order to make that transition as smooth as possible. In regards to things like moving expenses, things you need to look out for and be aware of, and just tips on how to navigate this whole process. So let's just dive right in. I think the first thing I want to just kind of bring up is, what do you do in the transition time when you're trying to figure out how I'm going to get from point A to point B? So for me, that was moving from South Florida all the way up to North Carolina and then back to New Orleans. So I finished med school pretty early. My lease was up in April. For those of you who don't know, usually you start to go to residency programs at the end of June. First day of shift starts July 1. So I had a couple months in between the time where I needed to show up for residency. So the first thing I did was trying to figure out, how I'm gonna move all my stuff and where I was gonna move it to. And I think the thing that made this journey a lot easier was just taking advantage of the discounts, man. Discounts. Those are gonna be your best friend throughout this journey, throughout this process. So I figured out, I had a 1-bedroom apartment. I figured out how much space I would need in order to kind of move all my stuff and what type of truck I would need. The next thing was just to kind of figure out which company had the best deals. And this is something that you're just gonna have to kind of like search and plug the numbers and figure out where you can get the best offer. And then once you kind of figure that out, see what discounts are available. So for me, I used like a student discount. I ended up like talking to somebody over the phone, and they ended up like, I was explaining my situation to them, like, yeah, I just graduated medical school, I'm gonna be moving for residency and whatnot. And they threw on an extra like $300-$400 discount for me. So I ended up saving almost like $600-$700 just by kind of reaching out to the company and seeing what discounts were available. So make sure you kind of crunch the numbers and ask for those discounts, man. I promise you, they are available. You just gotta be on the lookout for them. So next thing I had to figure out was what I was gonna do with all my stuff. So my family lives back in New Orleans, and so we had planned on staying or moving back to New Orleans for those couple months in between the time where our lease was up in Florida and then time for residency to start. So what I did was found a reliable storage facility that was temperature controlled. That's very essential. And I made the decision to take all my stuff, move it all the way to North Carolina, not too far from where we would be moving, and just house it there. So I ended up driving it up there and flying back to New Orleans. But in the process, what I did, I asked for discounts. I ended up getting like the first month free. I had like a prorated rate or rent for my last month. So I only ended up paying like half of what I should have paid if I had not asked for those discounts. So discounts. It's the theme of the video today. But like I said, ended up moving all my stuff there. Me and my homeboy Blaze that I met from like a decade ago, he lives here. So he helped me like unpack all my stuff. Ended up flying back to New Orleans and staying there. And then we drove back to Carolina. So it's a lot of moving parts and it's a lot of pieces, and as you can see, like just kind of thinking about just that aspect in itself can get like super expensive. So discounts, y'all, man, make sure you ask for them. Next thing I want to talk about is finding somewhere to stay. Like, you're moving to the new place, like where am I going to stay? So the first couple tips that I would definitely say to have like prepared and ready, because this is a seller's market, y'all. The market is very competitive right now. It's just very tough to find places and find good deals. So just be ready. But I would say, reach out to your program, probably your program coordinator, to get a document that tells you how much you will be making. So that way, once you're ready to either buy the house or rent something, whatever you choose, you'll have that there, because you won't have any kind of pay stubs to go off of. It would just have to be a document saying, Cody Hill is going to be employed at XYZ and will be making this amount per year, this amount per month. That sets you up for success in the beginning. So just make sure you have that ready. And also just like crunch the numbers, man. Just figure out, what you want to do, what the market is like in the area that you are going to kind of see if you're going to rent or buy a home. You could find like a good opportunity to buy a home. Let's say you don't want to stay there long term. You could possibly turn into a rental property or investment property, or you could just turn around and sell it once you leave. But just kind of think about what you want to do moving forward for the next 3 to 7 years of your life there. And I will say what made it easier for us, because we looked at a lot of different places. We found some stuff on Instagram, found realtors on Instagram, and we ended up finding this one person who we told them what we wanted and what we were looking for. Unfortunately, they couldn't feel it in the beginning, but then like one day my wife got like an email or a call from them saying that they had a new rental property that was available that had not been listed. Nobody saw it, and he wanted to let us get first dibs on it. And we ended up seeing it, loving it, and just like signing the lease like right then and there, because we had gone through a couple other things that looked like good opportunities, but either like the person that was owning the home wouldn't buy them with them, or there were just places that we liked but just didn't love. And this place was somewhere that we loved, so ended up getting that. So contact realtors, man. They can be very useful and resourceful. And if I could just like piggyback off of the whole just like figuring out where you want to stay, be sure to either visit the place, or if you know someone that you trust and knows the area of the place that you are going to in residency, make sure you figure out where everything is in regards to proximity to either your job, to shops, food, etc. Because you can be bamboozled. Like, people want to get their properties off, and people want to sell you this and that and the third, and you could end up being in this nice, like ended up getting like a nice place, but just the area around you is like, what is this? I don't want to live here. So make sure you either visit a place or have somebody that you know and trust who knows the area. Go there and kind of figure out what your surroundings are. If y'all know me, then y'all know I'm all about saving money. So another tip that I have is to find out what your program offers you. So many of us know we have to, continue to take board exams, step 3, in-service exams. Some of us are moving very far away. Be sure on what your program has available to you. Some people pay for step 3, some people don't. Some people pay for your world, some people don't. So kind of figure that out, because you'll have to essentially like plan when you're going to take it. And if your program doesn't cover some of these expenses, that can, as you know, that can be really expensive just to sit and take a test. It'd be like $1,500, including like UWorld and just figuring out what resources you're going to use to study. So figure that out ahead of time. And once you do that, you can sort of plan when you're going to take it, how you're going to save for it, or what pieces are you going to move in order to meet your requirements, in order to facilitate the things that you need. Some programs offer fee assistance as far as moving. So just be sure to figure out everything that is available to you and take advantage of it. So another thing I would say is figure out what type of city you live in and how does transportation work there. A lot of my friends did medical school in New York, and so they didn't rely on a car. But then once they got into residency somewhere else, they needed to kind of make that transition. So if you haven't done so already or during the interview season, figure that out. If you're a person who, just relies solely on public transportation, make sure that that is feasible in the city that you're now going to be living in. And so that way you have time to plan ahead to see if you need a car and kind of figure out what your budget is. Credit's not good right now, get your credit up and come up with that plan, so when it's time for you to be able to make those monthly payments or what have you, that you'll be set up and already budgeted out and not have that stress over your head. So that's pretty much it for this vlog, y'all. This is a part 1. On part 2, I'll be covering more so how do you transition into this new role as a resident physician. You're an actual doctor. People are going to be relying on you. You're going to have to put your own orders in and what have you. So just addressing how to tackle that, I think it's super important. So be on the lookout for part 2. Also, it's springtime. I know y'all have a bunch of pollen on your cars right now, but I will be revamping the UKMD merch. A lot of people like the long sleeve doctorly tees. It's getting a little warm outside, thinking about transitioning that to short sleeves. Tell me what you think. Write it down in the comments. Drop a like if you think we should roll out with the short sleeve tees. And be sure to check out youcanmd.com to see what we have going on right now. But as always, y'all, if you have any questions, any comments, or any content that you want uploaded, make sure you drop it down below in the comment box, and I'll be sure to get back to you. See you on the next vlog.